our 2021 Hamilton Sports Boosters Award and Senior Celebration. This school year was filled with uncertainties, doubt, and surprise, with our athletes being unsure what sports, if any, they would play. Throughout the year, as our student athletes stayed up to date with the newest guidance, they remained optimistic and hopeful that they'd be able to play their sport. Our student athletes showed a dedication to their sports that goes beyond the standard season. Our soccer players were flexible and competed in an intramural tournament, making it competitive and fun, just so that they can get on the soccer field in some capacity this fall. Our basketball players practiced for hours, although there was still an uncertainty of an interscholastic season, just so they can continue to improve and for the love of the game. Even though our spring athletes lost a season last year, our teams came back stronger than ever, with all teams advancing to sectional play, and our tennis team winning a Section 3 title for the first time in 30 years. These are testaments to the dedication, commitment, and love of the game that our student athletes have. I'm extremely proud of our student athletes this year, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to honor them this evening. Additionally, parents, I would like to personally thank you for all your support, not only for your son or daughter, but for our entire athletic program. This year was difficult for our parents as well, and you've shown such flexibility and cooperation as the guidance continually changed. Our parents were respectful, cooperative, and supportive, even if it was virtually. Thank you for all of your support throughout this year. And I'd also like to extend a huge thank you to our coaches who spent countless hours with their respective teams and continue to develop successful student athletes. This year, they've gone beyond and beyond, doing whatever it takes to get our athletes in the building and playing. They've attended additional trainings, followed guidelines, and did whatever they could for our athletes. We're all very appreciative of our coaches and their hard work. Also, this year would not have been possible without our technology department, Chris Rogers and Morgan Larson. For most of our sports, we were at limited spectator capacity, and basically overnight, Chris and Morgan created a way to live stream our games that continue to evolve throughout the year. The games were not only live streamed, but with commentation, picture-in-picture, and it would not have been possible without the two of them. I'm extremely grateful for the hours they put in to get our live streams up and running, so thank you to Chris and Morgan. I'd also like to thank the Waterville, Sherburne, Earlville, and Morrisville Eaton school districts for allowing our student athletes to participate on their combined teams, especially this year. I'd like to thank the Hamilton Sports Boosters and President Rick LaFrance for their continued support of our athletic program, and thank you to Mr. Bain and his photojournalism class for helping with tonight's program. Last but certainly not least, thank you to Randy Freeman and his staff, including Holly Blake and Frank Maggio, for all their hard work getting our facilities ready throughout the year, often at the very last minute this year. Our games and practices could not have happened if it wasn't for the three of them. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our senior athletes. You guys are ready? Can you go back? Yes. Emma Basher, soccer, basketball, and softball. Zach Bernard, soccer, basketball, baseball. Logan Campbell, baseball. Ben Coddington, soccer and tennis. Henry Crespi, tennis. John Dudrick, soccer, hockey, baseball. Billy Egger, football. Aiden Gibbons, baseball. Aiden Helfont, soccer, tennis. Sky Helfont, soccer, track. Emily Holm, soccer. Blaine Hughes, baseball, but also the voice of Hamilton basketball. Devin Jones, soccer. Kerrigan Kelly, volleyball, softball. Amir Kennedy, soccer and baseball. Ella Kenyon, soccer and basketball. Logan Niles, football. Alyssa Perry, volleyball. Lauren Rodriguez, soccer and softball. Madison Rodriguez, soccer and softball. Jenna Rogers, volleyball and softball. Ryan Rutledge, basketball and golf. Bryce Sharp Bollinger, soccer, basketball, tennis. Seth Walden, soccer and tennis. Congratulations to our senior athletes. So we'll begin our program by honoring our first year Varsity Letter Award winners. The following student athletes received varsity letters for the first time this year. Unfortunately, most of these athletes are unable to attend in person this year, but they will receive their varsity letter in September. I will read the names, and those who are in attendance, please join me on stage to receive your letter. Reagan Hope, Chloe LaFrance, Stephanie Bernard, who's here, Joe Berry, Clara Burkhart Spiegel, Anna Dawkins, Aoife Douglas, Chloe Flipowitz, Abigail Hagos, Autumn Haynes, Nico Hay, Luke Jackson, Colleen Kelly, Landon Latella, Dominic Niles, Ryan Peters, Noah Stahlberg, Logan Struck, Lauren Barker, Colby Campbell, McKinley Craven, Ethan Hamner, Camille Kenyon, Amaya Martin, Amir Samanian, Reese Snyder, Peyton Werner, Grace Costa, Brady Foster, John Hughes, Sam Larson, Zoe Ostrander, Ben Stewart, Sam Stewart, Declan Wilson, and Amir Kennedy. Congratulations to all of our first year letter winners. Our next set of awards are the Memorial Awards. These awards are presented in memory of past HCS students. First, I'm going to call up Coach Rose to present the Robert Schultz Award.
Robert Schultz was a young man and HCS soccer player who lost his life trying to save another person from drowning. Each year, the HCS soccer coaching staff presents the Robert Schultz Award to an athlete who has a strong commitment to the team and shows concern for others. This year's winner consistently demonstrated these traits over the course of his varsity career. From seeing little time in his first varsity season to becoming a starter, a captain, and an integral part of the system of play, this player put in the work to improve himself to make the team better. He sought to unite the team through positive comments and set a positive example of what it means to be a teammate. He plays hard, is level-headed, and possesses a strong sense of fair play and sportsmanship. And this is only a part of what makes him a leader both on and off the field. His coachability, positive attitude, and willingness to place the team and program above himself will be missed, and these attributes clearly demonstrate he deserves this award. This year's Robert Schultz Award goes to Bryce Sharp-Appleton.
Next, I'd like to call Coach LePage to present the Greg Marcellus Award.
Greg Marcellus, a former HCS student, was an energetic young man who loved the game of baseball. Greg was a Little League All-Star whose baseball career was cut short due to a tragic accident at the age of 13. This award has been established in his honor and for his love of the game. This award is given to a varsity baseball player who has played at least 1 year of varsity baseball and displays the following characteristics: charisma, sound character, leadership and dedication to the team, good sportsmanship, and good academic standing, has a true love of the game. This year's Greg Marcellus Award goes to a senior that displayed an outstanding attitude and effort to, number one, get back to playing after having multiple injuries, and number two, being a great leader on and off the field. As a pitcher, he led our team in strikeouts, ERA, and innings pitched. Offensively, he hit .300 and tied for fourth in runs scored. In my opinion, there is no one more deserving to win this award than Blake Hughes.
Next, I'd like to call Coach Blackford to present the Adam Heck Award.
Thanks for that round of applause. I've got my dress shorts on tonight. I got them from a new designer store called Nike. All right, let me, before I announce the winner, this is called the Heart and Soul Award in memory of Adam Heck, a former Hamilton Central School student athlete. Let me tell you a little bit about Adam. Adam passed away in August of 2016. He was 42 years old. He played varsity soccer here, varsity basketball, and varsity baseball. He was captains in all three sports. He was a fierce competitor and leader. He wrote for the Emerald Press. He was an actor in The Masters, Music Man. The only time I ever gave Adam a hard time was he went to Ithaca College along with Coach LePage. I'm a SUNY Cortland grad. That's where Ryan Rutledge is going also. So I gave him a little grief about that. He and I had a very special relationship. We spoke thousands of times over the years on the phone, texting, or in person. He was a former student player who played for me, and we developed a very close friendship. Adam went to Lansing High School, and he taught physical education. He led his teams to league titles, sectional titles, and went to the state Final four different times in varsity boys soccer. He was inducted into the New York State Soccer Hall of Fame in the fall of 2016. He left behind his wife, Beth, and his two daughters, Alexis and Madison. The young man I'm going to give this award to follows in the footsteps of the four previous award winners: Mike Kelly, who I just saw in the audience tonight, Mark Dunkel, Ryan Hunt, Peter Klingeman, all fantastic men. Ryan Rutledge is the award winner. Ryan played 53 games for me at the varsity level. In a projection, when before he got hurt, he would have played about 90 games. Ryan, in the 56 games that he played for me, we won 43 and only lost 13, a 78% winning percentage. Ryan scored 758 points in 56 games, 405 rebounds. I did the projections. If he had played all 90 games that I projected that he would have played in, he would have been a 1,300 point scorer and a 700 rebound person. The only person in school history who scored more than 1,300 points was a guy named Donald Foyle. So prior to Ryan getting hurt, he was on projection to doing that. Ryan and I met with Ben Coddington and Blaine Hughes when they were in 5th grade. They came to my basketball camp at Casanova College. And I've been friends with them ever since. Ryan played 4 years for me for varsity. When he didn't play his junior year because he tore his ACL, he was a leader on the bench. The Heart and Soul Award reads, in memory of Adam Heck, the Heart and Soul Award goes to the Hamilton basketball player who exhibits complete loyalty, integrity, unselfish commitment to the team. And that sums up Ryan Rutledge in a heartbeat. And when he comes up, just notice his shoes that he has on tonight. SUNY Cortland, Ryan Rutledge.
So before we continue, I'd like to ask Coach Blackford to come back up as we honor and recognize a former HCS alum and member of the HCS coaching staff, Coach Doug Marcellus.
Thank you. Before I talk about Coach Marcellus, I want to, again, heartfelt thanks from the coaches, Coach LePage and Mrs. Reynolds and Mr. Dobson really organized the student athletes here. You people are amazing. Coach Marcellus really loved all the athletes in the school because he went here. But the funeral, when we left the funeral parlor and we went out to the cemetery to bury Coach, all the student athletes lined up on Seven Oaks. And that was Mrs. Marcellus and Sean and Chris and Kelly, their kids. I can't even tell you how much they appreciated that. And that was very, very sweet and very considerate and very honorable for you all to do that. Doug Marcellus and I have been friends for 35 years. It's always been a true, lifelong friendship. The last 14 weeks were really hard for everybody in his last 14 weeks of his life. But I wanted Doug and Lois to know that there would never be a day that I didn't go to either see him, call him, or text him on the phone to let him and Lois know that I loved them and I cared about them. So I've got a couple favors for you. All of you, adults and kids and student athletes. Before you go to sleep tonight, reach out to somebody in your life and tell them how much they mean to you. Also, if you are mad at somebody or you're holding a grudge with somebody, reach out to that person and iron it out. Life is just too precious. You just don't know what's going to happen. When he got sick, there's no way. I thought what the doctors told him that they had a cure for him and they were going to help him. I didn't know it was going to not happen like that. Life is too short to live with being mad at somebody. Live your life like Coach Marcellus did. He always had a smile. He always impacted everybody that knew him. He was fun to be around. He was loyal to everybody who entered it into his life. I've had so many phone calls this week, the last couple of weeks, from all coaches and former players here and former players at other schools that Doug impacted. And it was just amazing, all the people who reached out. Just got a couple funny stories to tell you about Doug. So, Doug was in charge of the bus, and we had a bus ride up to Old Forge, and it was 5 degrees, and we had this really cool bus driver, Jeff Schindler, and Jeff Schindler was a happy-go-lucky guy. So we have these 3 managers, Gavin Rutledge, Teddy Freeth, and Bryce Wright. So halfway up, it's snowing like crazy. It's 5 degrees. We're going up to Old Forge to play Old Forge. And so I look behind me in the back seats, and here's Bryce Wright. He's trying to get his tongue frozen on the window. So he has his tongue out, and the tongue is actually getting frozen on the window, and Gavin and Teddy are trying to, I'm thinking the tongue's going to come out. And then Gavin and Teddy are running down the aisles, and Coach was just laughing, having fun, and diving on the varsity guys. So I turned to Coach Marcel and said, Coach, I said, will you get them in control? He goes, Coach, they're the Three Stooges. That was funny. The other thing is Coach did was he brought chocolate milk and white milk. I started the thing my first year coaching in 1982. I brought breakfast every single practice on Saturdays for the last 39 years. Well, when Coach Marcel started working with me 5 years ago, he would bring in his chocolate milk and white milk. So he'd come across the gym floor carrying his little cooler behind him on wheels, and he'd have the white milk on one side, the chocolate milk on one side, the cups on one side, and it was just his way, and the players just loved that on Saturdays. I brought the good food. I brought cookies and donuts, but Coach Marcel always brought the chocolate milk and white milk. And that's what student athletes really remember. Yeah, you remember the games, but you remember those kind of stories. So I really appreciate Hamilton Central and the community for reaching out to the Marcellus family. And on behalf of them, speaking for them, can't even tell you how much what you've done has meant to the Marcellus family. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Blackford. So we're going to continue on with our program, and we have one student athlete who received all-state recognition, and that student athlete is Caitlin Akampora. So Caitlin Akampora is a junior, and she went undefeated in our shortened cross-country season and was chosen by TullyRunners.com as first team All-State Class D. Coach Hansen says a well-deserved honor to one of the hardest working high school runners in the area. Congratulations, Caitlin. At this time, I'd like to ask Coach Posner and those members of the varsity tennis team in attendance to join me on stage so that we can recognize their accomplishments.
So, first thing I'd like to say is I do want to echo Coach Blackford's words that he said before, especially about Coach Marcellus, wonderful person, and seniors, you should try to make an impact on your community. He did. That should be your goal in life, is to make such an impact that people remember you forever, as we will know Coach Marcellus. A couple words about this year's team. I don't know if anybody remembers, but I used to be the coach a long time ago, varsity tennis coach from 97 to 2011. And we had some pretty good teams at that time. We had good players, we won some league championship, but every year we got to sectionals, we lost literally by this much. For like 14 years, NPH would edge us out, Watertown IUC would edge us out. Some team would come out of nowhere and edge us out. Sometimes they just out a lot. But we had a lot of like 4 and 5 point losses. Never could win that sectional title. And that's kind of the selfish part for me. I kind of, before I went away somewhere, I wanted to see them to win the sectional title, either with me as a coach or Coach Reynolds or Coach Paulowski or Coach Kowalski or Coach Jarko. I mean, I know they all had that little frustration of not quite winning. And so that's why, 30 years, that makes this year kind of special. I mean, and what really makes it special is that these guys as our leaders, they were top student athletes. I mean, they're as good as student athletes who do fun. They worked hard every day in practice. Even though I yelled at them once for being a little late, and I apologize. I lost my head. But they led the young kids. I kind of purposely paired them up so they would help the younger kids get better. They did. They were unselfish. They were a lot of fun on the bus ride up to sectionals. I got to remember, because most of these guys were in my third grade class 100 years ago, and they weren't, I knew them. And I just remember how fun-loving and intelligent and thoughtful and caring they were. And that is one of the reasons we won, is because they were our true leaders, senior leaders. So I appreciate the leadership. 30 years is a long time. You guys brought exceptional ground for us. That's kind of cool. So I appreciate your leadership, and thanks to the parents for all their support of the community. It's kind of cool. We came back that day and people would come up and say congratulations. It's already up on the little board. So it was a great season. These guys were great leaders, and thank you.
Thank you, Coach Posner. Congratulations to the 2021 varsity tennis team for becoming Section 3 champions. Next, I'd like to announce our Hoteling Scholarship winners. The Hoteling Scholarship Award awards funding to attend summer sports camps. The scholarship is awarded to one male and one female applicant who plans to attend a summer camp. Each recipient will receive $200 to offset the cost of their chosen summer camp. This year's Hoteling Scholarship recipient is Madison DeAngelis. Congratulations, Madison. At this time, when called upon, we'd like to ask the captains from our various sports teams to come up and give a quick review of their season. So let's start off with cross country.
I'll keep it really short. While this year we were unable to have a regular season, I'm so grateful for the season we did have. I want to thank Coach Hansen for coming back for us, even though he could have been relaxing on his couch. I'm fortunate to be able to say this team feels like a family to me, and I'm so excited for all our new members. I hope next year everyone decides to come back, though they probably don't want to. I'm looking forward to my last year of cross country in the fall, and I hope our team will continue its success.
And now for football, I have a speech that was submitted by Zach LaFrance, which I will read. The Hamilton/Waterville varsity football team had a great season through the uncertainty of the pandemic. The team played a good schedule through weather ranging from immense heat, snow, and rain, finishing out with a record of 3-2. All the Hamilton players that were on the team this season made huge improvements to both themselves and their team. The Hamilton players of Logan Niles, Billy Egger, Zach LaFrance, Caleb McEwen, and Dominic Niles all had fantastic seasons. Some of the notable memories from this season include jamming out on the way back to Hamilton after practice, TikTok dancing after beating Notre Dame, and making Coach Piersma pay for pizza after scoring over 30 against Sherburne. Good job, Hamilton Waterville football. Next up is boys soccer.
I'll be fine. All right, boys Hamilton soccer. I don't have anything ready, but I'll wing it and it'll be good. This season, we went 7-1, I believe. Great season. Best since when I was a freshman, since I was a freshman. I think that team was better than my freshman year. This year, I really felt we had a lot of young players step up. Landon Latella, Nico Hay, Jimmy coming back in his second year as a varsity player. He was amazing. He took it up a notch, that's for sure. He was the real reason why we were so successful. The past 2 years when I was a sophomore and a junior, we couldn't score. It was terrible, wasn't fun. I think we might have had 5 double OT games that we ended up tying in. It's like 120 minutes, you're gassed, it's awful. This year, I don't think there was a game where we didn't score 4 goals. Or, sorry, the one game we lost. But it was awesome. We came out, got a goal quick, and that had the whole team going. This year, it was great. I mean, there's not much else to say. Dominant, absolutely dominant. Wish we had sectionals. Wish we played Poland. We would have beat them, I know it. Had a little fight during the season against the other team, not in your squad. That was all right. But honestly, the team chemistry this year, everyone trusted each other. Everyone had fun. There was no one person against another where they didn't like each other. Johnny Rowe over there in the orange stepped up huge in net. Big first year as a varsity goalie. Had some great saves. Saved a PK. That was awesome. So, I don't know. Bryce, you have anything else to say? Hamilton Soccer, gonna be studs next year.
And now girls soccer.
So this past year, athletics has looked a little different here at Hamilton. Between social distance huddles and the limited spectator passes, it definitely took some time to get used to, some more than others. We went from trying to remember shooting guards and kids to don't forget your hand sanitizer and masks. Although this season is out of the norm, we had an amazing and talented group of girls that helped us make the season up. We will miss pre-gaming to Backstreet Boys, Coach Lauren, World Cup, and watching Mr. Clyde play goalkeeper. Although we were unable to play sectionals this year, we are very proud of what our team was able to accomplish. We have an amazing group of girls as well as a great coach who have all dedicated themselves to Hamilton soccer. We can't wait to see what the future holds for these young aspiring athletes.
We would also like to take a minute to thank our athletic director, Mrs. Reynolds, for making the soccer season possible. We were lucky enough to be one of the few schools in the area to play both intramural in the fall as well as the spring season. Whether it was getting us to put our masks up or sometimes even yelling at other teams, we know that it was all because we wanted our season to continue.
We would also like to thank Mr. Clyde for being our coach for the past couple of seasons and molding our team into what it is today. Mr. Clyde is the reason why we were able to bring back the varsity girls program to Hamilton. Additionally, we would like to thank all of the girls who signed up to play this season. These players have dedicated themselves every day to bettering themselves and the team. Our program wouldn't be back to Hamilton without everyone's commitment. And a huge thank you to Ms. Reynolds, Mr. Arquette, and Mr. Dowson for making sure we're able to play in our Fall 2 season. Thank you.
Next up, girls volleyball.
Don't worry, I won't take up much of your time because we only did win 2 games this season. The team really made this season one to remember. We had many memories, such as winning a set against Chenango, singing during practice rather than actually practicing, obviously bus rides, and always making fun of Coach Brooks. In a good way though, don't worry, your feelings weren't hurt too bad. I want to say thank you to the team for making so many memories, and I'm speaking for all the seniors on the team, and we wish you good luck in the future. We beg for you to win at least more than 3 games. Thank you.
Next up is boys basketball.
All right, is this good? All right. So this Hamilton basketball season was one I think the coaches, the team, and I will never forget. It was full of challenges such as COVID restrictions, playing bigger schools that we normally wouldn't play, and having to go throughout the whole season listening to Francis Mormon playlist that I think Coach also loved. But through all these challenges, there were good times as well, such as finishing 8-3 despite our difficult schedule, being able to ride the bus again with friends while making memories, and watching Bernard shoot over 50% from the three-point line. I think I speak for the team when I say that I'm grateful to put on the green and white this past season and representing Hamilton one more time. I want to thank Ms. Reynolds, Mr. Arquette, Mr. Dowsland, and the school board and Coach Blackford for making this season happen. I also want to thank the best commentator in upstate New York, Blaine Hughes, for commentating our games throughout the season. I wish the best of luck next season to Coach Blackford and the team. Hope you guys can bring home that banner, not just for the school or for us seniors, but also for Coach Marcells as well. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Now, girls basketball.
Since we've been sitting on the bench as managers to becoming varsity players, Emma and I have experienced lots of change in the girls' basketball program, but nothing quite like this year. From October to mid-January, we practiced almost every day without playing a single game. I mean, we even came in on Saturday mornings, although the Dunkin' Donuts might have been a small incentive for us. For some teams, you would think it might be hard to stay engaged, but not for this team. We were excited to come in every day and work hard, learn something new, and try to tune out Mr. Hansen's voice. It was definitely an adjustment for Mr. LePage this year to not only to have to motivate us to come in every day, but also having to remember to pick up my jewelry when I left it on the bench, which happened a lot. I'm sure it's not easy coaching girls, but Mr. LePage did a great job, and we know that him and the rest of the team will have great success in the future.
Like Ellis said, we have been practicing weeks before our first actual game, but these practices weren't what practices usually were. We weren't allowed to share the ball, so that meant that we had to shoot by ourselves and play by ourselves. This left Mr. LePage to think of drills that would only include ourselves. This was one of the biggest challenges we faced through our pandemic season, but it was all worth it when we were able to finally play a game. Even though our season was short, we were still able to come away with some wins, learning experiences, in a senior season. This was Mr. LePage's first year head coaching us girls, and I think he handled it all very well. At least he had Mr. Hansen with him for most of it. We also want to thank Ms. Reynolds, Mr. Arquette, Mr. Dowsland, and Mr. LePage for allowing us to have a season and making sure we were able to have a senior year. Thank you.
Next up is baseball.
So if you guys thought Bernard's speech was good, you guys are in for a treat. Okay, so we finished 6-9 this year overall, 4-4 in our conference, which, you know, take the good with the bad. That's not very great, but we had a lot of fun this year. You know, it means a lot to me to be able to put on green and white. It's just what I live for, baseball. And Coach LePage has really, really helped me along the way to becoming a lot better pitcher than I was in my sophomore year. Hamilton just really means a lot to me. They're up there laughing. It's because I'm I'm trying not to cry right now. That's why I'm shaking. So I love everything about this town. I love this place, and I love Hamilton, and I love the baseball program, and it's because of him right there. He has done so much. He loves our players. He loves them to death. And this year wasn't the year that we wanted to give him because we owed it to him. But we had a lot of fun. Highlights of the year. Now I'm gonna not cry. I'm gonna be happy now. Highlights of the year. Zach Bernard was second in the team in strikeouts, second in innings pitched. This is his first year playing varsity, pitching as a varsity pitcher. Threw a nasty curveball. Everyone on the team knows that's known as Uncle Charlie. His first career strikeout on that curveball actually said to himself on the mound, "Oh, that was a good pitch." Said that to himself. I'm trying to think of highlights. We were really bad this year. Like, it was not good. It was not good. All right. We walked off Morrisville. Morrisville was that was a fun game. There was a lot of people there. So if you guys don't know, baseball doesn't get very big crowds. So when you win a game, walk off with a lot of people there, it's pretty cool. We went up to New York Mills, got a big win. Logan Campbell. That was infinite ERA Logan Campbell. That was the good version of Logan Campbell on the mound. He actually pitched pretty well that game. Amir, big Mir over there. He got hit this year. First year varsity baseball. Learned how to play baseball this year and got hit. Give him a clap for that. John Hughes, Jake Wright, Tom Simpson. 3 sophomores we weren't sure we were going to play, ended up playing. My brother, he played for the first time in 6 years since Little League. Pretty sure the last game he played was a walk-off hit in Little League. That was a highlight. This year he batted like 187, but we're all right. So now that I'm done with the roast session, that is your 2021 Hamilton varsity baseball team.
Next up is softball.
Like we've talked about in the prior speeches, this year has definitely been far from normal. I will never forget the numerous conversations we had with the Darrows about next season, nor will I ever forget some of the younger kids almost fainting after trying to play hours after they got their vaccine. Overall, COVID has made this past season very interesting. However, it was amazing to be able to finally have fans at our games once again.
When it came to practice, I think we were all a little worried where our skills and bats would be at because of not having a season last year. We were all a little rusty and definitely very sore after the first practice. But as usual, we got back into our groove very quickly. Even when we only had 1 week of practice before our first game, where we went up to Madison and beat them 30-3. We had a lot of memorable moments this year and some moments that haven't happened in a while. This year, our team racked up 13 home runs throughout our season, more than any recent season. Just a few of them include Kerrigan's grand slam against Sherburne, Lawrence against Sherburne, Emma's against Poland, and Kylie's against Mount Markham. We had many shutouts, one-hitters, and multi-strikeout games for our pitchers. And going into week 2 of our season, we were ranked 1st in Section 3 and 5th in the state.
Some of our favorite memories include Mr. Darrow falling over the fence, me giving Coach the steal signs, Kerrigan's grand slam, even though everyone thought she was going to punt, squishing into a mini school van to drive to the FSU game with Dowsman, pre-game music, listening to Kylie and Kerrigan serenade the team with their beautiful voices, Free Willy, and playing in 2 sectional semifinal games. We would like to take a moment to thank our athletic director, Mrs. Reynolds, for working hard to make our softball season possible. We would also like to thank all the staff and grounds crew for keeping our field pristine, even if the pitching circles occasionally miss it. In all seriousness, you guys made it possible for us to play even after a storm, so thank you for that. Lastly, we'd like to thank the Darrows. You two have dedicated yourselves to bettering the team and the softball program here at Hamilton. We'll never forget you two and all of your accomplishments.
Next up is tennis.
So this year was a pretty good one. It started off a little rough, but so Aiden and I have been we're doubles partners our first year, which means we've experienced a lot of tennis teams together. And it's safe to say that this one was like none of the others. In many ways, Mr. Posner and this team had to deal with more challenges and adversity than any other team I've been a part of. We spent the majority of our preseason playing indoors due to struggles facilitating courts with Colgate and Sherburne-Orville. We dealt with cancellations and a significantly decreased team size. Amir and Ethan even had to deal with sudden changes in their roster due to unexpected events. Regardless of the struggles that we had to deal with because of the ongoing pandemic, this has been the most successful HCS varsity roster that I've been a part of. During this season, we were crowned both league and sectional champs. And of course, this would not have been possible without the support of Mr. Posner, who stepped up to be a head coach during this challenging year. Even without courts, he did a great job teaching and training every player on the roster all the tennis shots we needed to play a good game. He's one of the most honest and humble people we know. Throughout the season, he would repeatedly discuss the qualities and aspects that make up a good tennis player. And instead of talking about how he played when he was younger as an example for us, he would reflect on his own shortcomings with many of the things he preached. I can't say enough how grateful I am to have had him as a coach, especially during the last year of my high school career. Another great thing about Mr. Posner is how he made an effort to form relationships with individual players on the team, regardless of their skill level. He truly believed that every player on the team had something to contribute and made an effort to show that appreciation for each and every one of us. It didn't matter if you were first singles or not even starting. He treated everybody the same. The same goes for Miss Spencer. Because we were long past elementary school when she began working here, many of us, myself included, met her for the first time during our preseason this year. However, she quickly earned the trust of our team through her kindness and immense knowledge of tennis.
Additionally, I also want to credit the closeness of the team itself for our success. I think tennis stands apart from a lot of the other sports in the sense that actual games consist only of doubles and singles. So it's not like soccer where you're playing on an 11-person team or baseball and stuff like that. Even so, I think team chemistry is actually just as important in tennis as in those other sports. It was team chemistry that gave us the confidence in our abilities to advance higher levels of play. Every single game, when we were on the sidelines and I was maybe still playing my game or someone else was still playing the game, every one of our team members was watching and not cheering us on because it wasn't legal to cheer people on, but it was just really nice to know that we had our teammates on the side, kind of like looking at our games and just making sure that we were doing pretty good. The most memorable experiences with the team actually weren't on the tennis courts though. I remember being at sectionals and legendary Henry brought a coconut in the van and he decided it would be a good idea to smash it with a hammer just outside right next to the car. We actually offered some of the pieces to passing tennis players, but they didn't want any of it, so we kind of got to eat it ourselves. It didn't taste very good. Other than that, we got to sit in a hammock during sectionals and just kind of vibe for 2 hours before actually playing. So it was just memories like that you wouldn't think would be as memorable playing tennis, but it was still just as memorable because I got to experience it with the team itself. So in hindsight, I think what sets us apart from other teams was the adversity we faced this season because of the pandemic, and also the great work that Mr. Posner and Mrs. Spencer did in making it one of the best seasons that I've ever had. So I just want to thank once again for how much work you did this season. And yeah, thank you so much. Once again, that is your 2021 varsity tennis team. So.
And last but not least, track and field.
I actually didn't know I was giving a speech, so I'm also winging it, Zach, but this is my favorite sport. The thing I like about track is, unlike soccer, basketball, I'm not going to say other ones, but like for those sports, you play for fun. It's like coordination, you try to have a good time, and every play is like fun. In track, it's just who can suffer the most. All that sport is torment. When you're on the line, my favorite part, at the start of every single mile race, we'll all look at each other, we'll all shake hands, and we'll go, good luck. And then, I just love the pain at the end. It's a sport about pain. The highlight of the season, I would say, was Sammy getting injured. Not because him getting injured was the highlight, but because that just says what the sport is. Sammy, every single jump for meets on end, he wouldn't tell anybody he was hurting, but he pushed through every single time. He would push through the pain, and that exemplifies the sport. It's like, who can suffer the most, and that's why I love it. Track meets, it's weird. You're only running for like 10 or less minutes. The sport really is about 6 or 7 hours with friends who, like previously, before the season, we didn't know each other. This season, for example, I was the only senior. I didn't know any of the juniors, essentially, or sophomore and freshmen. But by the end of the season, I knew many of them very, very well. And I love that a lot. The sport, it brings people together. It's just unlike anything else. I really enjoyed this season. And Caitlin, if you can learn to sleep and eat, you'll dominate. And so will Colleen. Colleen, I swear, is she here? I think she's faster than me in a sprint. She's insane. Those two, if you guys learn, it's going to be insane. Next year, you'll pop up. I love the sport. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all the team captains for sharing your thoughtful and sometimes funny thoughts on your respective seasons. So now it's time to move on to our Scholar Athletes. We have 3 different sets of Scholar Athlete Awards to hand out. The first set are the HCS Awards, which go to the male and female athletes with the highest grade point average through the first 3 marking periods in each class. So for the freshman class, we have Abigail Hagos and Joe Berry. For the sophomore class, we have Fiona DeSange and Elliot Pendleton Witherspoon. For juniors, Kylie Pearson and Zach LaFrance. And then for seniors, Emma Basher and Aiden Halpon. The next set of Scholar Athlete Awards are the Center State Conference Scholar Athlete Awards. These student athletes met the criteria set by the Center State Conference for academic excellence, as well as accruing a minimum number of varsity letters as determined by the Center State Conference for each grade level. Many of these athletes are unable to join us in person today and will receive their patch in September. For those in attendance, as I call your name, please join me on stage to receive your patch. Reagan Hope, Chloe LaFrance, Stephanie Bernard, Joe Berry, Clara Burkhart-Spiegel, Will Chenard, Emma Crespi, Anna Dawkins, Eva Douglas, Chloe Flipowitz, Abigail Hagos, Autumn Haynes, Nico Hay, Luke Jackson, Colleen Kelly, Landon Latella, Ryan Peters, Lindsay Spear, Logan Struck, Taylor Basher, Jimmy Daddio, Kylie Delaney, Amaya Martin, Emily Neuenschwander, Sammy Geralou, Zach LaFrance, Lexi Lapp, Kylie Pearson, Thomas Simpson, Ian Skinner, Brooke Spear, Jake Wright, Emma Basher, Zach Bernard, Ben Coddington, Aiden Helfont, Sky Helfont, Ella Kenyon, Lauren Rodriguez, Madison Rodriguez, Bryce Sharp Bollinger, and Jenna Rogers. The final set of Scholar Athlete Awards are the New York State Scholar Athlete Team Awards. These awards go out to the varsity team whose overall team GPA is 90 or above, as I call the team if the coach can come up to receive the award. Boys soccer, girls soccer, girls cross country, boys basketball, girls basketball, boys golf, boys baseball, girls softball, girls track and field, boys track and field, and boys tennis. Congratulations to these outstanding student athletes, and congratulations to the Scholar Athlete teams. Our next set of awards identify various attributes in our athletes that exhibit what Hamilton Athletics is all about. The first award is Rookie of the Year. These athletes are first-year varsity players in their respective sports that have stepped up and filled a necessary role within the team. This year's Female Rookie of the Year is Colleen Kelly. Colleen is a first-year varsity volleyball player, and in a short season, she made her presence known on the court. In just 9 games, she amassed 73 kills, 3 blocks, 115 digs, and 35 aces. She is one of the most dominant hitters on the court, a ferocious defender, and an all-around great player and teammate. As a first-year track and field member, Colleen also was a standout runner. She qualified for sectionals in the 100-meter with a time of 13.8, 200-meter with a time of 29.8, the 4x100 meter with a time of 58.78, and the 4x400 relay with a time of 4 minutes 58 seconds. This year's Female Rookie of the Year, Colleen Kelly. This year's Male Rookie of the Year is Landon Latella. As a freshman, Landon was a starter on varsity soccer at the center midfield position, one of the most important positions on the field. He took his role to heart and helped transform the team into an offensive power, while also helping to control the center of the field defensively. He scored 2 goals and was second in the team in assists with 4. His confidence, skill, and knowledge of the game all contributed to the team finishing 6-1 for the season. This year's Male Rookie of the Year, Landon Latella. Our next award is the Unsung Hero. These players are influential to their team, but their influence may not reflect in traditional stats. They work hard at practice, in games, and support their team in every aspect. This year's Female Unsung Hero is Madison Rodriguez. Madison is a 5-year varsity soccer player. In the 2019 season, she had 8 goals and 7 assists in 14 games. She also had a total of 26 saves in goals, stepping up to be the goalkeeper in the first game against Oriskany and helped to earn the win with 21 saves. Madison is the second on the team in assists and third in goals, scored mainly from a defensive position. Madison is a 2-year varsity soccer captain and a field leader who helped control the games. On the soccer field, Madison played through everything and is a very tough defensive and offensive player. Madison helped change the outcomes of many soccer games with her leadership and talent. On the softball field, Madison is a 5-year varsity starter and has been an integral part of the team's success. During the 2021 season, Madison had a .481 batting average, 34 runs scored, 25 hits, 11 RBIs, .585 on-base percentage, 13 walks, and was 11 for 11 for stolen bases. She ended up scoring 117 career runs. Her incredible work ethic and selfless attitude made her the perfect teammate. This year, she has taken on the role of working with the softball team's new slapper during all of the team's hitting sessions and is helping to turn her into the next successful slapper in the program. This year's female unsung hero, Madison Rodriguez. This year's male unsung hero is John Hughes. At the beginning of the soccer season, John stepped up to take a position that no one else wanted to play, with only the fall intramural season as a preparation for the varsity position. While there was a tremendous focus on the scoring the team was doing, he played his role well and quietly made his mark on the team's record. He had 3 shutouts in 7 games, a .833 save percentage, and even saved a penalty kick. He was a morale booster for the soccer team in practice and in games and never got down on himself. Additionally, John Hughes came back to HCS baseball this year and has left a mark. His energy and enthusiasm to make himself and his team better is contagious. John is a kid that will do what is needed at any point as long as his team benefits from it. This year's male unsung hero, John Hughes. Up next, we have an award for Comeback Kid. These athletes have overcome strife, whether it be an injury or a fight for playing time, and have become valuable assets to their respective teams. This year's male comeback kid is Ryan Rutledge. Ryan is the definition of a comeback player. He started on varsity basketball as a freshman and sophomore, during which time he amassed 591 points and 286 rebounds in just 2 seasons. Ryan tore his ACL in June of his sophomore year. He spent the next 12 months rehabbing his knee, missed his junior year of basketball, but never gave up, working to get himself back to normal. He spent thousands of hours by himself and with Rick LaFrance to be able to play again. Then, during his senior year, COVID hit and we didn't even know if there would be a season, but that didn't deter him and the rest of the basketball team from getting hundreds of hours of drills and practices while they awaited their decision from state and local officials. In his senior year, with only 11 games played in 2 weeks, Ryan averaged 15.2 points per game and 10.8 rebounds per game. Ryan is a 3-year All-League and All-Mohawk Valley player, as well as a 3-year captain. In his career, he has amassed 758 points, 395 rebounds, 74 three-pointers, 127 assists, and 118 steals. Coach Blackford says, "I'm very proud of Ryan for never giving up and the dedication it took to get back to playing again." This year's comeback kid, Ryan Rutledge. Next up is our Sportsmanship Awards. These athletes exhibit great sportsmanship on and off the field, are role models to their teammates, and exemplify Hamilton athletics. This year's Female Sportsmanship Award recipient is Taylor Basher. Taylor is a great player and person on and off the soccer field. Taylor is always willing to help others and offer advice when needed. She's grown into a leader over the years. Last year in soccer, Taylor had 11 goals and 3 assists on the season, and was the second in goals and third in assists on the season. In basketball, Taylor is respectful to her teammates and opponents. She's the first to help a teammate in need and always does what is asked of her and then some. She's an excellent teammate, a fierce but fair competitor, and a pleasure to have in the program. In softball, Taylor works incredibly hard in practice on a daily basis and does anything you need her to do. She's taken on the role of learning to be the program's next slapper after Madison graduates and has put in extra time on her own to improve. This year's female sportsmanship recipient, Taylor Basher. This year's male sportsmanship award is Bryce Sharp Bollinger. In all of his soccer games, Bryce played hard and fair. He's level-headed in games that get contentious and makes sure that his teammates stay that way as well. He's always as gracious in losses as he is in games won. He has a strong sense of fair play. He's a coachable player who responds well to instruction and criticism. Bryce sets a good example for his teammates both on and off the field, in practices and in games, through his work ethic and positive attitude. In basketball, Bryce was a late recruit for Coach Blackford, joining the JV team his junior year, but Coach says Bryce exemplifies sportsmanship. His work ethic, positive attitude, and being a great teammate is second to none. It's his sportsmanship with coaches, referees, and players that really stands out. He is so respectful, and Coach Blackford says he is a joy to coach and a terrific and amazing young man. In tennis, Bryce is someone who always wants to learn and get better. He takes advice and runs with it, and because of this, he is always improving at whatever task he is given. And you can tell he has a love of learning. Bryce is very earnest. He truly wants things to go well for the team and teammates, and he recognizes the achievements of others. Bryce never brags and truly thinks of others first. Bryce is honest to his core and will point out injustices, but in a calm, respectful manner. He is the epitome of a team player and a great teammate. This year's male sportsmanship recipient, Bryce Sharp Bollinger. Our next award is HCS Leader. These athletes are players who truly represent leadership through their actions, on and off the field, and have earned the respect from their coaches and teammates. This year's female HCS Leader is Ella Kenyon. In soccer, Ella stepped up as a captain this year. She started in the sweeper position for the last 2 seasons in soccer, one of the toughest positions on the field. Ella is always willing to help fellow teammates and will always do what is asked of her. She's a tough competitor who the younger players always looked up to. Ella is a great example of a senior being very coachable every practice, led by example more than vocal. In basketball, she was a great teammate and kind to all, but also played hard. Ella has the ability to have fun in practice, but also learn and get better. This year's female HCS Leader, Ella Kenyon. This year's male HCS Leader is Zach LaFrance. Zach is a 2-year varsity basketball player and a captain his junior year. This past basketball season was very difficult due to the uncertainty of COVID restrictions. Coach Blackford utilized Zach to facilitate communication with players about gym workouts, practices, and help make sure everyone was where they needed to be at the correct time. Coach Blackford describes Zach as not only a great athlete, but an outstanding person and a great student and a very good leader. This year's male HCS Leader, Zach LaFrance. The next awards are the Senior Athlete Awards. The following awards are handed out to 1 sport, 2 sport, and 3 sport senior athletes. When you hear your name, please join us on stage and receive your award. So we have our bronze level athletes. Logan Campbell. Henry Crespi. Billy Egger. Aiden Gibbons. Emily Holm, Lane Hughes, Devin Jones, Logan Niles, and Alyssa Perry. The next are silver level athletes. First up, Ben Coddington, Aiden Helfon, Sky Helfon, Kerrigan Kelly, Amir Kennedy, Ella Kenyon, Lauren Rodriguez, Madison Rodriguez, Jenna Rogers, Ryan Rutledge, Seth Walden, Next up are the gold level athletes. Emma Basher, Zach Bernard, John Dudrick, Bryce Sharp-Bollinger. Congratulations again to all of our senior athletes. We're going to move on to the male and female athlete of the year. I'm going to introduce our male and female athletes of the year, and the male and female athlete of the year have met all the criteria set for this award. Our female athlete of the year is Lauren Rodriguez. So Lauren Rodriguez is a three-sport athlete that has amassed 13 total varsity letters, and is a 96 average. During her high school career in soccer, she was a 5-year varsity goalkeeper. Her freshman year, she had 122 saves, 9 shutouts, a save average of 98.3%, and was named to Section 3 All-League First Team, as well as being named Rookie of the Year. Her sophomore year, she had 147 saves, 6 shutouts, 2 assists, and a save average of 93.5%. And was again named to Section 3 All-League First Team. Her junior year, she had 159 saves, 7 shutouts, 1 assist, a save average of 92.7%, and was named to Section 3 All-League First Team for a 3rd year in a row. Her total high school career stats prior to the Fall 2 2021 season were 482 saves, 22 shutouts with a 94.9% save average. Outside of her stats, Lauren has been an incredible leader and teammate over the last couple years in soccer. A leader on and off the field, she has led by example to show the younger players what it takes to improve, and that with hard work they can have an opportunity to play beyond the high school level. Her work ethic is hard to match day in and day out. Having played through sickness and injuries, she continued to excel in the net. She will be missed as a player, teammate, and leader. In basketball, Lauren was a member for 3 years. Throughout her 3-year basketball career, Lauren had 273 points, 393 rebounds, 46 assists, 33 blocks, and 108 steals. Lauren had a relentless effort to be the very best basketball player she could be for the team. Her natural athletic ability made her a force as a defender, rebounder, and occasional scorer. She did everything she was asked of her, which often included doing the dirty work that is part of the game. She was a tremendous asset to the team and helped the team achieve great success. In softball, Lauren was a senior captain on the softball team and had an amazing season this year. She had a .667 batting average, which is the top in the CSC, scored 34 runs, drove in 41 RBIs, hit 7 doubles, 5 triples, and 5 home runs. Over the course of her career, she's a 2-time All-State selection, 2019 and 2021 CSC Player of the Year, and 2021 All-CNY Player. During her time playing at HCS, Lauren had a .490 batting average, 120 hits, 115 RBIs. Lauren led the team in hits in 3 of her 4 years on the varsity team, and it would have likely had been 4 if it weren't for COVID. She had a fantastic career and could join a very short list of HCS softball players named to the All-State team 3 times. She is an outstanding player and will be missed by Coach Darrow and the rest of the program. In the fall, Lauren will be attending Barnard College at Columbia University studying business, where she plans to continue her soccer career at the Division I level. This year's Female Athlete of the Year, Lauren Rodriguez. This year's Male Athlete of the Year is Zach Bernard. So Zach is a 3-sport varsity player and amassed 8 total level letters with a 93 average. Zach was a 4-year varsity soccer player and was a captain his senior year. During the short Fall 2 season, Zach had 13 goals and 9 assists in just 7 games. Zach was also named Max Prep's New York State Player of the Week for the week of April 4th. Zach had 21 goals and 12 assists throughout his HCS career. He is a tenacious opponent, a strong leader, and a valuable asset to Hamilton soccer over his 4 years. In basketball, Coach Blackford describes Zach as mentally and physically tough, with an edge to him that Coach wishes more of our HCS athletes had. Zach played in all 11 games during this shortened season. He was the best defensive player and the team's toughest player. Coach Blackford says that what sets Zach apart from his peers is his physical and mental toughness. He's a great work ethic and is dedicated and committed athlete to all 3 of his sports. Due to those attributes, Coach Blackford describes Zach as the type of athlete that all of his teammates love and that his opponents hate. In baseball, Zach was a 2-year starter and missed 1 season due to COVID. He started at third base, first base, or pitcher. Zach is a career .330 hitter over 100 bats with an on-base percentage of .422. In his senior year, he was a perfect 17 for 17, stealing bases, and was never thrown out. Zach is outstanding defensively and a fierce competitor that always had polite things to say about his opponents. Zach was not afraid to get dirty and never left any doubts on the field. If you ask Zach, he is the dirtiest curveball in Section 3. He just said it's true if you couldn't hear. In the fall, Zach will be attending student ESF studying construction management. Your Male Athlete of the Year, Zach Bernard. In closing, I'd like to once again congratulate all of our student athletes on another successful athletic school year, and a special thank you to all of our outstanding coaches for their dedication to their teams. And finally, once again, a big thank you to Rick LaFrance and the entire Hamilton Sports Boosters for their continued support of our athletic programs. And as always, thank you parents and the Hamilton school community for your continued support as well. Thank you for coming, and thank you for watching, those watching virtually, and I can't wait to see everybody on the athletic fields and in the stands next year. Thank you.